guys,
I'm Hallee,
and I'm Jamie.
and this is Literal Nonsense.
Hey guys, welcome back to Literal Nonsense podcast. We're done with fucking ACOTAR. I can't wait. I'm so happy.
Thank God. No one ever talked to me again about ACOTAR.
Ever again.
Ever.
I feel like I'm so hyped to talk about Crescent City. Like I was talking to Hallee before, and I feel like it's like the sports horns, like they do it better this time. I want new vibes. It's like cool. It's modern. There's hot men. Good theories. I don't know. I'm excited to talk about it.
It's because it's like a switch up, right? Like the world's different. And in my opinion, I feel the characters are more badass.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I'm sorry, Farah, but you are the least badass out of all the female heroines.
Yes. So we kind of like built our way up. Honestly, yeah, kind of. We are building our way up.
You suck, Farah.
And so hopefully we've researched, guys, like so much with audio. We've really tried our best. I don't know. We're really trying.
So there's better work.
Yeah, so we're really hoping. We really want good content for you guys. And so we got a bunch of new listeners this week. So hey guys, if you're new, welcome. What else is going on in our lives? Oh, now because it's May, I get married next month. That's fucking sickening.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. What else is going on with us? I think that's really much it. I don't know. What's going on with you, Hal Gal?
I have a really funny story to share.
Oh, please do.
So I was at work today and I was like, oh, it's so nice out. Let me go take a walk around the block since, it's nice. It's spring. It's warm. So I texted my coworker. I was like, because I couldn't find her. Michelle, if you're listening, I love you. I was like, hey, you want to go for a walk? She's like, yeah, I'm outside. So I was like, lit. So we walk out. We're walking around. We go to like this cute little tea shop. And then we're walking. We like walked through the park like on the corner to like loop around back to work. And out of nowhere, I hear like this wet plop noise, like on the concrete. And Michelle's like, what the fuck? Bro, I wish I could show you the picture. There was like a fucking raw chicken leg.
What?
Like disgusting, like really nasty. And we look up and there's like all these like crows or like ravens or something. So one of them must have dropped it on. It hit her. It hit her shoulder.
No.
It was on the floor. Yo, I was crying. I was actually crying because
I would immediately call out of work. I'd be like, time for me to go home today.
She had a sweatshirt on, thankfully.
Ew,
but
that's like
worse. So funny.
That's like worse than a bird shitting on you, I think.
It was like rotted raw chicken leg.
Ew. What the fuck? I fucking hate that, actually.
Oh my god, it was hilarious.
Okay, well,
you just had to be there.
On that fucking note, I guess we'll start the episode. What? Okay. All right, so we are doing Crescent City, a house of what?
Sorry, I'm still thinking about it.
All right, you recover. I'll give them the lowdown. Just laugh in a corner by yourself. It's fine.
Oh my god. Wow.
All right, so we're doing Crescent City, a house of earth and blood, which is the first book. We're doing it in 2 parts because there's just so much. And guess what, guys? We're doing this shit a little bit different. We're going to change it up on you. We'll switch up. So this part is going to be chapters 1 through 50. Nice, even break. Pages 1 through 465. Okay, that's what we're doing. But when you're reading this book, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners feel this way, it's a lot of world building. It's fucking confusing. It's honestly brutal.
Yeah, you really don't understand what's going on until you're 400 pages in.
Correct. And so what we did is we're going to explain and break down this world for you right now. We're going to say the characters' names. We won't say any like big plot points with them, but we're going to introduce them. We're going to explain how things work in this world, break it down for you guys, and then we'll start the plot afterwards. Instead of like going in chronological order completely and being like, oh, here's the main character hears, oh, she meets this person. Oh, she meets this person later on. We're not doing that because it just honestly, as a reader, it was overwhelming. So listening, it will be extra overwhelming.
Yeah, the plot is just really thick.
Yeah. And
And
then,
it's
like,
really layered, like way more than ACOTAR.
and it's also a murder mystery, and there's like a fuck ton of conspiracies, and everyone's deceiving each other. So it's also like half the shit you're reading is also lies. So it's like just we're gonna try this out. And we think honestly, writing the outline for it, I feel like I understood it better as a reader.
Yeah.
So hopefully we help you guys out. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Um, and yeah, so we're gonna just start with world building.
Yeah. So we are in the planet of Midgard.
Yes.
And so basically, this is a planet and it's ruled by these beings, these magical, all powerful beings called the Asteri. And then on the planet, besides the Asteri, there's also the Vanir, which are all the other magical beings. And then there's also humans. Um, so originally, this planet was inhabited. I was going to say inhabited. What? Inhabited by humans. But now the Asteri rule the planet. So 15,000 years ago,
Hint,
uh,
hint.
yeah,
The number 15,000
there was this event called the Crossing, and that's when the Asteri came over through a rift, magical rift.
and
Um,
like other magical beings as well.
yeah, well, they got them after.
Okay.
They brought them after, like not long after, shortly after. Um, so like originally, like their calendar was like HE for human era, but now it's VE for Veneer era, and um, Veneer is just their word for non-humans because they hate humans. Go figure. Also, there's these seven princes of hell who pop up quite frequently, and they can come to this planet through like portals and gates. Um, so basically, we have the Asteri, the Veneer, the humans, and the princes of hell as the major players.
And so, okay, so the Stiri, as Hallie mentioned, they're like the near god rulers of this planet. So they are all powerful. So physically, they basically are made of light. There's like stars within them. They can be in whatever body they want, which is kind of very reminiscent of Amryn esque. I'm sure Amryn pop up. Anyways, and so the one is like a teenage boy. Like they could all pick whatever form they want, but just so we know that they are made of stars, they are like extreme power, like the rawest form. So we have no idea where they came from. Um, we just don't know. And so there's seven Asteri rulers, but there used to be eight. So again, because they're stars, they're known as the holy stars. So we have Ostris, Osphoros, Hesperus, Octertus, Polaris, Regulus, Vesperus, and then Sirius, who's the one that died. Now, it's a big deal that Sirius is dead because these are like all powerful beings, right? And so Sirius was killed in the first wars by Apollyon. Apollyon? Sounds good.
Apollyon.
Oh, we went like real Italian. I don't even know what happened.
I don't know.
Um, and he's one
I
of
was
the
thinking of
princes of
like
hell.
Amarion, the
Huh?
singer. I was thinking of the singer Amarion, and he like starts a song. He's like Amarion, right?
Oh, I don't know that singer,
That's
but
like in my head.
I believe you.
This might be false. I don't know.
Hallie made up a whole singer, a whole little like
Yeah, right.
catchphrase.
No, he's definitely a singer.
Like the only singer I know in their like little thing is like Jason Derulo. That's
Really?
it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't like. I listen to like heavy metal, dude.
yeah. Okay. Sorry.
With heavy metal bands don't come on like Metallica. It
Imagine.
doesn't happen. Um, so whatever. And okay, so
Weirdo.
Sirius was killed in the first wars by Apollyon.
Yes.
Okay, and so
Same rules apply. Don't come at us for how we pronounce things. Okay?
yeah,
Cool.
same fucking rules. Any fantasy book, fuck off. We're not saying the names right. And so, also important to know, the one Asteria I just mentioned, Regulus, he's the head of the Asteria. His nickname is the Bright Hand.
Regulus? I thought it was Rigulus.
Regulus, it probably is.
Regula?
I've never said these
Rigulus?
words out loud in my life, so here we are. Regulus is the bright hand. He's the ruler of the Asteri. He's teenage boy. Okay, lovely. So now we know who the ruler of the Asteri is. It's Regulus, and we know that Apollyon killed one of the Asteri. So let's go into the princes of hell. There's 7 princes of hell. They each have like a layer. So the first prince is Prince of the Hollow. Don't know his name. He's Prince of the Hollow. Second prince, Prince of the Trench. Don't know his name. Prince of the Trench.
I feel like I'm in school.
Literally. Third prince is Prince of the Canyon. Also don't know his name. He's Prince of the Canyon. Fourth prince is Thanatos. He's Prince of the Ravine. His name is Thanatos. Fifth prince is the Prince of the Chasm. His name is Adis. Sixth prince, Prince of the Abyss. Prince of the Abyss, don't know his name. The 7th prince is Apollyon. He is the Prince of the Pit. So he's known as a Star Eater because he ate. Serious. So
He ate.
He ate. And so literally like
Left no crumbs.
the like farther down we get, like the more like powerful and like superior they are. So it also makes sense that if anyone could kill an Asteri, it would be Apollyon because he's like the like most hardcore of them, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, so now we got that settled.
Okay, so now we have the veneer. This gets a little heavy. So these are the supernatural beings, okay? And they're separated into 4 houses. So starting off, we have House of Earth and Blood, which is what this book is named after. These include shifters, humans, witches, ordinary animals, and some other random people.
That one's easy.
Yeah. Then we have House of Sky and Breath. Okay. So there's the Malachim, Fae, Elementals, and formerly Sprites. Sprites are not a part of this house anymore because we'll get to that in the future. So basically, the Malachim are angels, essentially. And they were created by the Asteri, and the most powerful, like within their hierarchy, are the archangels. And they typically are governors of the different territories in the Republic of Midgard. So they're the most powerful, and they rule over areas. They only answer to the Asteri, and there's 10 of them to govern the 10 different territories. Following that, there's the Asterian Guard, which is another hierarchy in the angels. These are elite highborn angels. They're basically bred for service and obedience, so they're like the soldiers essentially. And they all
yeah, like they're just like their guards. So like they're important, but I feel like the governors we hear more about. Like we like interact with them more.
Yeah, but I think it's cool. They have glowing white wings. Sick. And then there's just the regular angels underneath them. All right, cool. Then we have the House of Many Waters. Go figure. This is like water people. Well, they're not people. They're beings. Okay. River spirits, the mare, water beasts, nymphs, kelpies, nox, sobex, selkies. Just a whole bunch of shit.
But there's mermaids, so that's all I care about.
Yeah. And then the last one, we have House of Flame and Shadows. So we have Demonaki, Reapers, Wraiths, Vampires, Draki, Dragons, Necromancers. Pretty cool. Also, vampires are spelled with a Y in this book, which I dig. Random fact. So yeah, these beings are all over Midgard. And like I said, the planet is broken up into different regions.
And so now we're going to go into those different regions. And so our locations. So we have different continents. So one of them is called Pangera, and it's a continent where the Eternal City is. It's where the Asteri rule from. So they are located in Pangera. And so, okay, as we mentioned, each city is governed by a angel, like Hallee just said, and so Pangera is ruled by Sandriel. She'll be important. We'll talk about her. Now, on top of that, each archangel has a trier. Can you say this word, please?
Triari?
Triari?
I think so.
Holy fuck. Okay. They have a triari. It's like they're like
Triari?
Triari. Yes. Okay. So triari. So Sandriel's triari is full of a bunch of fucking scumbags. Okay.
Psychos. Legit psychopaths.
So her triari is the 45th Legion. And we have Pollux Antonius. He's called the Hammer, so you can imagine how he is. We have Lydio Servos, the Hind.
The hind?
Fancy is the hint.
I thought it was the hind.
I think we're emphasizing different syllables. I'm not sure. Then we have the harpy. Then we have vaccine argos, the hellhound, and then we have the hawk. I mean, they are fucked up, but also like how sick they got like cool fucking names. Like
Well,
I want to be
they
the
have nicknames. No one else has nicknames.
yeah, I want to be the harpy. That sounds fucking epic. Okay. And so okay, so that's in Pangea. So Pangea, we have the exterior, and we have this fucked up group of people. Don't want to go there. Then we have Avalon. Avalon's an island off of Pangea. It's Fae territory, and the people that come from here are descendants of the Starborn Fae. That'll be very important as we go forward, so keep that in mind. And then we have Valbara, which is where we're going to be, and it's the continent where Lunatheon.
What? How did you say that?
Lunatheon?
Oh, same thing as the syllables.
Lunathian?
It's the syllables for me.
Is it
Lunathian?
like Lunathian?
Lunathion?
Lunathion?
These words are fucking weird, man.
Okay, well, here's the issue I have with this. It's called Lunathion, but then it's also called Crescent City. Like, fucking pick one.
Do they ever say why it was changed?
No, they literally say Lunathion, Crescent City.
Oh.
So, guess what? Fuckers, I'm gonna call it Crescent City because I have to say that.
Yeah.
So, that's where our city is. Crescent City is in Valbara. Okay, now our archangel is Micah. Okay, great. And so
Okay, great.
now we're in Crescent City, right? So we're in Midgard, then we're in the continent of Valbara, now we're in Crescent City. But guess what, guys? Crescent City is also broken up in this section.
It's like a freaking world map.
I want to die. Okay. And so there's 7 quarters of Crescent City. So we got the CBD, the Central Business District. Ooh, business, love it. All the hot business finance groups. Who are else assholes accurate? That's where they are.
Jamie, you're so cringe.
Like, no, you chose to do this.
You're like, ew, CBD. Why are you a valley girl all of a sudden?
Because this cleaning enjoyable sunlight is fucking work.
Is it because it's 1 o'clock and you're wasted?
Right. I feel like I have to try to make it fun. I mean, it's like we're giving a history lesson.
Yeah.
You poor people.
Maybe you should sing all the quarters. Actually, don't, because you just tried to sing before and it was terrible, so don't do that.
Okay. Okay. So each territory also has a ruler called a city head. So there's a city head to each quarter. Not also on top of that, it gets a little weird.
Wait, also, I don't understand because like a quarter is a fourth, right? But there's 7 quarters.
Right, I don't care.
Sorry.
It is
Plot holes.
okay. And so each city head is the ruler of their district. Each city head also is in charge of aux units. So like we'll talk about it, but each district is like a type of being, like a supernatural being, and they'll have like auxiliary units.
Literally, only one has an aux unit.
No. Because no.
The other ones aren't called auxes. Only one is called aux, the auxiliary.
I don't have the page number on here right now, but Rune Dannon explains it.
Rune Dannon, the prince of the starborn fae.
Okay. What the fuck's going on? I swear, he says it. He says, like, he breaks it down.
All right, whatever. I'm over it.
I wrote that down from Rune Dannon's mouth. Okay.
Okay.
So there's CBD, Central Business District. Holy fuck. The leader of that is Micah. So the CBD is also the Malakim territory where the angels are. So Micah's in charge of that. Now, he also has his 33rd Legion, his Triari. And so we have Isaiah Tiberin, he's the commander. We have Hunt Athalar.
Tiberin?
Fuck off.
He's the leader. You need to give him more of like.
Yeah, he's in charge.
Isaiah Tiberian.
Oh, okay.
Choose your avatar.
Isaiah Tiberian, the commander. Okay. Then we have Hun Athalar. He's the Umbrabordus, the angel of death, so we say.
Oh my
and
God.
he's Micah's personal assassin. Okay. Then we have Naomi Boreas, and she's the captain. Then we have Victoria Margaret! And she's a wraith, which she's just like a goofy little thing. And then, last but not least, we have Justinian Jealous. Is that good?
Sickening.
And he's the youngest member, so he's just there. That's his description.
He's the newbie.
Okay, so that's the speaking. Then we have Fyro, like 5 roses. That's the Fae territory. The head of that is the Autumn King. They have the Hawks. Rune Danon is the head of the Hawks. He, as we mentioned, is the crown prince of the Bavarian.
Jesus
I was
Christ.
like, okay. Then we have Moonwood. They have an Hawks too, you fuck. And we have Moonwood.
Do they have an ox? No.
Yes, they definitely do.
No, but they're called different
I don't
things.
care. Anyways,
Like they have names. They're not called the auxiliary.
okay. We have Moonwood. It's wolf territory. The head of this is the prime of the wolves. He's an old ass man. So because he's so old, his daughter is Sabine Fendir.
I imagined him as the guy from Up.
Oh, imagine him like like the grandma and stuff about just eating chocolate.
What?
Give me some chocolate.
What are they selling?
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I don't know. So Danica's mom is Sabine Fendir. Danica will be important. So she's the prime of Aaron because the prime, as mentioned, is old as fuck.
Yeah, she's next in line.
So now, as Hallie said, they're not called the Ox. They're just like packs of wolves. One of the main ones we'll talk about is the Pack of Devils, which is where Danica, one of our main characters, is the leader of the Pack of Devils. Then we have the Bone Quarter, or the Sleeping City. The Under King is the head of this. It's like dead territories where it's like the afterlife. It's where you go when you die. Pretty self-explanatory. Then we have the Meat Market. The Viper Queen, love that for her, is the head of this. It's just like seedy business for black market. She just like accepts all the fucking scum. And she's a snake queen, so we love that.
Yeah, and she holds like underground fights and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, I dig her.
Then we have the Old Square. The Oracle is like the head of this. Like real, true fashion. Like here's your future. Okay. Then we have Asphodel Meadows, which is the human realm. They had to make it a cool name because it's fucking lame. Who wants to live there? I don't even know the leader of it. I think they just like fuck you guys. It's fine. And then so not part of the 7 districts in Crescent City, but another realm which is important is the Blue Court beneath the Istros River. The River Queen rules that. Again, it's not obviously in Crescent City because it's like not on land; it's literally beneath the water. But the River Queen is important, and her captain of intelligence is Tharion Kutos. We love him as well.
Tharian.
Tharion.
Tharion.
I like I'm just gonna look at you and fucking discuss this whole episode. Can I make fun of you and you spoke?
I'm just gonna gun at you. That's it.
Alright, whatever. So he's important too. So those are the 7 districts. Now we have broken it up.
All right, great. So now to throw even more information at you. Well, really, you've probably already read this, so you know these people. So these are some main players. So Bryce Quinlan, she's our main heroine. She's half fae, half human. The people that are like closest to her are like her friends. So there's Danica Fendir. Like I said, she's Bryce's best friend. She's also the head of the Pack of Devils. And her mother is the prime apparent, and her grandfather is the prime in Moonwood. And then there's Juniper Andromeda. She's a fawn, like a deer, and she's a dancer. A professional dancer, not a stripper dancer, like a ballet dancer.
Very good clarification.
Yeah.
I saw a thing that someone, I really just think on pages like podcasts or like reposts whatever, and someone was like, "Oh, how I see the character in my head, like the more every time," and someone was like, "Sorry, first I watched it, what do they see her as?" And they put a picture of Mr. Thomas from Narnia.
He's a centaur. It's different. Have some respect.
Singer,
so well, obviously we don't know what the fuck. Oh, he's on 2.
Yeah, he's a dope.
Oh yeah. Whatever. Who cares? Then there's Fury Axstar. She's an assassin. Syrinx is a chimera. He's Bryce's pet. He's like a lion dog thing. There's Jessica Roga, who's Bryce's boss, because Bryce works at this place called Griffin Antiquities, and Jessica owns that place. And then there's Lehaba. She's a fire sprite, and she lives at Griffin Antiquities.
Adorable.
Yeah, she's really cute.
I want a fire sprite.
She reads like little smutty books. It's hilarious. And she watches those like raunchy reality TV shows.
Same.
Sick.
We'd be friends.
Yeah. So then Bryce's family. So we have her mom is Ember Quinlan. She's human. And then
But
her
apparently she does milk show.
yeah. Thank you for that. And then her stepfather is also a human. His name is Rando Silago, and he was
Okay, I have to say that with some more fucking.
Randall Silago. And he was like in the war, right? Like
Yeah,
yeah. And then we have the Autumn King, which is Bryce's actual like father, her sire. He's Fae, the ruler of
he's a dickhead. And he
the Fae.
is the head of Spyro.
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay.
And then there's Rune Danan, Danon, Danon,
Rune
Rune, whatever.
Danon.
Danimals.
Rune
Danimal. Danon. He's Bryce.
I feel like
No, I don't know.
Val
Valahan? That's
Val
yeah, whatever. If you know, you know. That's Bryce's half brother. He's also heir to the Star Sword. Oh my god, I can't say that word. Sword. Why do I always say? I always say sword. I don't know what's wrong with me. Yo, what is good? What a fucking loser. Anyways, his mother is from Abilene, and he has some friends as well.
He's got his friends.
So Declan Emmett, he's a hacker, and then Tristan Flynn, which is a Fae. I can't get my thoughts in order. He's a part of their Aux unit.
So Declan's like a fucking supercomputer geeky hack guy. He's great. And then Tristan Flynn is like a prince.
Is he?
I think so, because I think like Ken Bryce joke around about it. I don't know, it doesn't really matter.
No, Bryce just liked him growing up.
Yeah,
I think he's like royalty, but I don't think he's a prince because Rune is the prince.
Okay, that's fine.
Anyways, and then we'll just go into the pack of devils here. Like I said, they're under strict orders by Danica. So we have Connor Holstrom, which is her second. There's Natalie, which is her third. Thorn, yeah, Thorn is an Omega. Okay, Bronson, Zach, Zelda, and then I think an honorary member is Ethan Holstrom, which is Connor's brother. But we can go into that at another time.
And essentially, I just want to make sure you guys as we're doing this before I get to the next point because we're going to go to some history. So sorry. All these characters, well, as far as everyone we mentioned, is important. The Pack of Devils, not all of them are really only Danica, Connor, and his little brother Ethan are important, to be completely honest with you. But we're saying all this information to you now just so you know like how things are broken up. We are still going to tell the story and you'll know like why they're important when they pop up. We just think like telling the story and that's the first time you hear them would get overwhelming. So by doing this now and then when we tell the story and they come into it, hopefully you're like, oh yeah, Tharian, he's the mermaid. Like that's like what we're trying to do. Just to preface.
Yes. We are prefacing. Oh my god, there's a bunny outside the window.
Oh my god, yeah, there's a bunch of family bunnies. They chase each other. So you make them.
Stop.
You know, the other day, I was watching it and I was laughing until I cried. I felt such joy in my heart.
Wait, I saw this video on TikTok and it was a reel and it was like two bunnies like literally playing leapfrog. They were just like jumping over each other. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
They might do that. So fucking get ready.
Amazing.
So ignore our ADHD with the bunnies, whatever. I'm just avoiding getting to the history because this is meaty.
Despicable.
Okay. Okay, so 200 years before the book started, everyone's in Midgard, but the Asteri were treating the humans especially like shit. So they had them as slaves. They just treated them poorly, not good. And so one of the archangels, her name was Shahar, she was fed up with these politics, these rigid hierarchies. She was like, fuck the fucking Asteri. Like, this is like not how people should be treated. Because even though she was an archangel, she like was like a human rights advocate. Okay. So she led a rebellion and she was unsuccessful and she was killed by her twin sister who also was an archangel.
Death, destruction.
And her name was Sandriel. So there's Sandriel and Shahar. Now, Shahar's main commander and also lover was Hun Athalar, who we know is now Micah's assassin, and he's the Umbra Mortis. So, because the rebellion failed and they're a bunch of lame ass losers, the rebelling angels that were left, aka Hunt, they're branded as slaves. They have a tattoo on their wrist branded on them, and it says SPQM. I forget what that means, to be quite honest with you.
It's like
I don't
Latin
care.
or something.
Yeah, I don't care. It means they're slaves. And so basically it just means they're property of the Asteri. And so there was also a halo of thorns tattooed on their heads, and it dampens their powers, which I'm like, wow, we really went like fucking Jesus Christ up in this book. I mean,
Yeah.
yikes.
I also thought that too.
Yeah, weird as fuck. Anyways, so collectively these angels are called the Fallen. Oh dear, here we go. Fallen angels. I'm like, wow. Sarah leaned fucking heavy into the Bible and was
Yeah.
like,
It's getting biblical in this bitch.
let's get it. Okay. And so some of Micah's legion are part of these fallen angels. And this was also when Hallee said that the sprites were no longer part of Sky and Breath. The sprites now are all like considered slaves and like property.
Yeah, because they rebelled.
All like the little, which is so cute. Can you imagine a bunch of fire sprites rebelling? How adorable. Whatever. So yeah, so as we mentioned, Hun is part of Micah's triarchy. But what's important for you guys to know, just history wise, he used to be part of Sandriel's triarchy, so the twin sister of his ex lover who she fucking murdered. Yikes, if you look at that every day. And she tortured the shit out of him, like constantly. And so she sold him to Micah, which is now how he ended up in this place. He says Micah's a better ruler than Sandriel because Micah is giving him a chance at freedom, but he is telling him to get his freedom back, he must kill a person for Micah for every person he killed in the war. And there was 2,217.
So specific.
So, he's at like 80.
Did you think she was just like, let's pick just a random number?
Yeah, probably. So yeah, so that's where Hunt is. That's how he got into Crescent City. So that's where we're at.
Love that. So now we're in Crescent City. And history is kind of like repeating itself. So there's like unrest and a war being fought among the humans and the Asteri. Basically, the humans are rebelling against the hierarchy again. So they're one of like the key players for them was this guy called Philip Briggs. He was like their rebellion leader. He is now detained and in prison. And also at this point, it's important to mention that there's this thing called a summit meeting that happens every 10 years to discuss the politics on Pangaea. And it takes place in the internal eternal city. Internal. I can't speak.
Sorry, I was drinking matcha. Yeah, the internal city. And it's funny because they have these meetings, but it's like bullshit. Like, you know, like they're like, oh, we have what's it called? What do we have in this country? Like, what's equal? We like vote on things.
Like an election?
A democracy.
I was like,
yeah,
what are you
they're
asking
like
me?
making it be like, we have a democracy. We can talk about things. First of all, it's every 10 years. That's crazy. Second of all, it's like nothing gets done. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, how
kind of like to just show face.
Yeah, how democratic is this? Okay. So now, guys, get fucking hyped because we're starting the story. We made it through the history. Ah! I just need to hype myself up because I'm quite frankly so sad. Okay.
All right, Jambo, calm down over there. Fucking do your push-ups in the corner.
But yeah, so get fucking excited. We finished fucking ACOTAR. We did our history. Let's talk about this book. Okay. So we're with our main girl, Bryce. She's a redhead. She's fiery. She wears hoop earrings. She wears high heels. She's got some big old titties. We love her. Okay. So she's hanging. She's
Oh
working
my
at Griffin
God.
Antiquities. She's just being like a city girl. And
City girl.
right, she's just bopping around looking mad cute. She's got them curvy hips. She's luscious. Love her. She definitely has rock hard calves.
For sure.
I support it. So yeah. So she's hanging out. Her best friend and roommate is Danica. Now they're all hanging out at their apartment. They're eating pizza. It's the Pack of Devils. It's like literally your dream college experience. Like they're besties. They're watching sports games. They're eating pizza. They're cracking open fucking beers. Like this is a different vibe than ACOTAR guys.
But they're not in college anymore.
No, but like it's like you're like early 20s. Like
The party never ends.
yeah, and like guys, this vibe is way different. A, because they're like hanging and like modern, but they're doing fucking drugs. They're drinking beers.
They're also like not 1,000 years old.
yeah,
like an
they're just
ACOTAR.
getting trash. Like they're just trash bags. Like Danica has like lavender, pink, and blue in her hair. She's a blondie. Like immaculate vibes. Like I want to be their friends. Okay. So now Bryce is going on a date with this like fucking loser Reed. He's from the CBD, so you know he's like super finance bro, and they're like, "You're a lame ass bitch."
He's
and
also a
Bryce,
human, and
He
his
is-
dad owns like the biggest tech company.
yeah, and Bryce is like, "Ugh, I don't even like him," and they're like, "You're fucking stupid for going out with him." Now, mind you, as we mentioned, Connor Holstrom, he's one of the Pack of Devils. He loves Bryce like for years and years and years. Now he's been asking her out, and she won't go out with him because she calls men and like veneer men, so mythical men, alpha holes because she said like, oh, like fae and like werewolves, like you'll like mate me and like then you'll have like authority over me, and she's like, not for me, sister. Like she's not having it.
Yeah.
So this whole like mating bond thing, like how we did in ACOTAR, she's like, yeah, so you can have claim over me. Fuck off, like pop off, girl.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever. So she goes on this date with Reed. Reed's a fucking loser. She walks out on him, and then she goes to the bar called the White Raven with Juniper and Fury. And it's like pack night, so Danica can't leave, and she's like, "You're such a fucking slut. Like, don't have too much fun without me." Like, you know, very like bestie vibes. And so once she gets to the club, I will mention this is kind of important. Fury is there, and Bryce is talking to a drug dealer, and he's like, "Oh, we have this new shit. It's called synth. It will fuck you up." And Fury's like, "Bryce, do not touch that. Like, that is bad shit. It'll be important later on." So they're dancing, they're having fun. She's making out with people. She gets a little drunk and wasty, and she texts Connor, and finally, after all these years, agrees to go out with him.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, and the way he's replying, he's like, "You won't regret it." Like, you're just like, precious.
Yeah, but didn't she get with somebody in the bathroom while this was happening?
Yeah, like she just said, she was like, "Well, we didn't go out yet. Like, I'm finally agreeing. That's fine. I'm gonna have a fun night," which is like fine. She's like casually dating. I don't have a problem with that. Pop off. So she has a great night. She's a little drunk. She gets home. She stumbles on in, and as she fucking stumbles into her apartment, the entire pack of devils is massacred. And dead.
Yeah, like bits of their bodies are strewn all over the living room, and there's blood everywhere, and
Okay. So as a fucking reader,
it's like what's that horror movie called?
I don't even know. This was fucked
Chainsaw
up.
Massacre.
Yes, I mean, as a reader, and also the way that SJM writes, right, as we all know,
It's like literally chapter 2.
you know, I literally think it's like chapter 4. It's fucking insane. And so the way SJM writes, we know, like, even when we first met the Inner Circle in the second book of ACOTAR, when we met Mist and Fury, like, you knew we were going to like them. You liked them right after that first chapter of, like,
Yeah.
that big meeting with them. So, like, she makes you like these people, and then she fucking kills them. But I will say, as a reader,
She has no problem killing people in this show.
thank you, God. I'm like, I was really upset because I was like, oh, Danica's the best friend. Like, she's gonna date Connor. It's gonna be amazing. But thank you. Thank you for fucking killing someone. Like, I mean,
Not just one, a whole pack.
the whole pack. Thank you. Actually, I'm really appreciative. This was a fucking phenomenal way to start a book. I was hooked.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
It gets fucked up because now, like, actually chronologically is when you learn all the history and you're like, I don't know what's going on. But now that we did that, now you can just enjoy this fucked up story with us.
Yeah. Um, so there's like this thing right in her apartment and it like rushes past her and she's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? So she goes chasing after it.
The Damon.
Yeah, and she gets like hurt and she like tracks this demon thing and it's like feasting on some random veneer like in an alleyway and she like goes
Mm-hmm.
after it and it like goes away. And then mind you, she's high on drugs this whole time
Yeah,
and
imagine that,
sick.
bro.
So I guess like somebody like she's like screaming for help and
Yeah,
then,
she
you know,
uses a phone, calls.
yeah, something like that. And then like the authorities come and she's brought in for questioning and it's the Umbra Mortis, aka Hunt, who's questioning her. And then Rune comes to like kind of bail her out because he's the prince and they don't fuck with him.
Yeah, and so basically they were like, well, this girl did not fucking kill all of her friends like this. Like,
Yeah.
she wasn't even home. And so the book just skips ahead 22 months. And you're like, oh, so they're, because a part of you as a reader, the first time you read this, you're like, they're not really dead. Like, it's other people, like, because the way to describe it, like Hallee said, it's like blobs of bloody, pulpy body.
Yeah.
So as a reader the first time, I was like, oh, it's something happened. It's not them, whatever. But then, like, once it skips ahead 22 months, you're like, oh, no, these people are all fucking dead. Okay, like, okay. So,
Yeah,
yeah, so
like jaw to the floor.
yeah, no, they really are fucking dead. Great. So, whatever. So Bryce is clearly still depressed. Her best friend just fucking got killed essentially right before her eyes. She saw her massive body.
And all her friends.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but like a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them. And so she's still working for Jezebel. So part of her job is to meet clients. And so one of the clients that she has to meet now that we're 22 months ahead is this guy Maximus. He's a vampire. He's like a real sleazy motherfucker. He's trying to hook up with her, and
She's
she's like,
basically like an art seller because like
mm-hmm.
the antiquity shop like has like all these like old valuable antiquities essentially. So like clients come in to like look at art and then like she like sells it and shit.
Yeah. So she talks to this guy, and then the next day, she finds out that he dies the same way that fucking Danica died. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? So clearly, she's not the only one who realized this similarity. And so Micah, the archangel of Crescent City, comes and he's like, okay, well, you're the, like, similarity here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what the fuck you're doing. We know you didn't do it, but the summit's coming up and we need things to be like ship shape in Crescent City. So you're gonna solve these murders. How about that? And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, go fucking solve it. And even Jezebel's like, I don't know, man. Like, this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, Bryce is like,
It's also like only like 2 months she has or something like that.
yeah, it's
right?
not a lot of time. And she's also like, for all intents and purposes, just like a party girl, and she's just vibing. So it's not like she has any experience doing this. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then so he tells her, well, it's going to be dangerous because there's clearly a murderer who's literally just spitting out bloody bodies. So we're going to give you Hunt, and he's going to be your bodyguard. Okay? So have fun, kids. And then he essentially also like threatens them and is like, so you better solve it before the summit, or else. And she's like, yay.
Yeah. And what we don't know at this point yet, I don't think, but I feel like it's just relevant to say
Don't spoil anything, Hallee.
is that Hunt agrees to do this, obviously one because he has to listen to Micah, but also Micah was like, oh, like I'll knock off like all like majority of the deaths, so then like you'll be free after.
Yeah, like if you do solve this for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that was fine. I was like, what are you going to say? I'm like looking at it like, fucking don't say anything.
Off script. So after all this happens, we get like our first look into the Autumn King. And he's a dick. He sucks. I also thought it was very strange that he's called the Autumn King because then I was thinking of like an ACOTAR, like the
Yeah.
High Lord of Autumn. I was like, interesting. Also, why is it called Autumn?
Right, like there could have been anything else.
Yeah, strange.
And I think he also has red hair and fire.
Yeah.
So, like, he legit is the Autumn Court.
Exactly. Keep that in mind. Anyways, he's like super interested in science, and he also has a big solar system model, just like Reese did in ACOTAR.
And they do talk, and he like Rune's like, you always do your stupid experiments, and he's like, you like know so little, like like he makes
Yeah,
comments, and you're like, this guy,
he's kind of out there.
he's kind of on something though.
Yeah. So at this point, we learn that Luna's horn went missing. So Luna's horn is like,
Boom, the
um,
fucking horns.
so yeah. So okay, let's clarify this. So I feel like the plot in this book splits in two different directions, and then they come back together. So you have Bryce hunting down this demon who's killing people that she comes into contact with, and then you also have Luna's horn, which is a Fey artifact that went missing from one of their temples. Um, so
Rune's doing that. Bryce is trying to solve the murders.
yeah, but of course, in true SJM fashion and fantasy fashion, they combine.
Correct.
So we learned that the horn belongs to the Fae, and it was Peleus's, which was the first starborn prince. And like Jamie said, Rune is tasked to find it. Like his dad was like, "You need to find this horn, but don't tell anyone. Keep it on the low."
And also, Rune's like, bro, I'm missing 2 years ago. Like, what the fuck? So whatever. So he's like, okay, I guess I'll try to find it for you. So now Bryce recruits Rune to help her with the murders because she's like, they have an estranged relationship. But at the end of the day, like they are half siblings, and
But no one knows.
yeah, they think they're cousins. So I was about to say that too. We just mentioned that the Autumn King is Bryce's dad. You find out pretty soon in the book it wasn't worth like us like having a big reveal for it.
Yeah.
But most people think that they're cousins, so no one knows that they're siblings. So now Rune doesn't think it's coincidence that the murders are starting again right after his dad asked him to find the object that went missing 1 week before Danica died. Like he's like, even he's like, well, this is related.
Yeah.
And so Bryce, in true Bryce.
Wait, and then
girl-
also, did we clarify that the horn? We think, well, we know it's
the fourth object, the dread trove.
Yeah, from ACOTAR.
We said it in like other episodes, but like, yeah, this is the horn, guys.
Yeah.
Here it is. And again, like as mentioned, like okay, it was belonging to like the Starborn Fae who came over in the crossing. Like, hello, okay, fine. And so Bryce, what she does to solve this murder is she goes and gets her nails done, and she is seemingly just being a bimbo. But
And Hunt is pissed.
He's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "I got ombre." Like she's like,
because he's like really serious about this because
he wants to be free.
Yeah, and he's like this stupid party girl. Like she doesn't give a shit. Like this is never gonna get solved.
And so, but
he severely underestimates her.
Yes, she's so smart. She finds out that the nail girl was Maximus the vampire's girlfriend. So she goes and gets her nails done by her. And she finds out that Maximus and Danica, the only similarity they had was they both like investigated his business, whatever, with the Viper Queen. So, okay, our first suspect is the Viper Queen. Great. And so Bryce is like, we have to go talk to her. Hunt is like, no, you cannot. She's like terrifying. She will kill you. She's scary. So of course Bryce sneaks out and goes to the meat market.
Yeah, because Hunt like literally stands outside her window and just like watches.
He's so sick of this girl. Like it's day like not day one, but it's early in the investigation. He's like, what the fuck is up with this girl?
Yeah.
And so she, when she's there, is also so sneaky. There's this stuff called obsidian salt. It's used to like summon demons. It's very illegal, but again, it's the black market. So she goes and she starts like asking very loudly about all these things and like gets the Viper Queen's attention so that she's like, shut the fuck up. And so then like she gets a hearing with her, which mind you, if she like requested a formal meeting, like she wouldn't have gotten or it would have taken weeks.
Yeah.
And so Hunt was kind of like, damn, okay, fine, she's smart. And so then after talking to the Viper Queen tells Bryce to look where it hurts the most. But ultimately, after just talking with her, they decide that she's innocent. She has nothing to do with these murders. And they conclude that.
Yeah. So we're going to jump back into like the horn plot point now. So Bryce meets with Rune at Luna's temple so they could like talk about like what the hell's going on. And we learn that the 8-pointed star is the emblem of the Starborn Fae.
Hello.
The 8-pointed star. If you've been listening all this time to our ACOTAR things,
there it is.
There it is. And at this point, we learn that the demon who attacked Bryce is called a Crystallos, and they think that the Crystallos is trying to track down the horn. So they're like, oh, so yeah. So Rune's like, oh, if we find the demon, we'll find the horn because, or whatever. Like if we get the horn, then the demon will come to us, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like I think vice versa. They're like, well, if we find the horn, we're gonna find the demon and who's summoning the demons.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, well, we could all work together. Like, so this is where Hallee just said, like, it kind of comes back together. It does it really quickly. Like, they merge stories very fast.
Yeah.
Um,
So whatever, they have their meeting at the temple, and then they find out that night that an acolyte was killed at the temple. So it's like all the victims are people who have come into contact or have been around Bryce,
so
which
everyone's like,
sus.
yeah, which on the first read, and even like before we did like these notes on it, I don't think she words it like that. And like, I don't think I realized that. Like, it's what's happening. It's the truth. Like, Bryce is in contact with them. They're being murdered. Like, that's what's happening. But they're not realizing, I don't think at this point in the book. Well, they're like, we're always around, all of us.
Yeah.
But they don't like they're not connecting it. And
That
it's kind of
specifically
like,
to Bryce.
yeah, and we're like, hello, like,
Yeah.
guys. And so they keep investigating, but now shit is going down. They go to the White Raven. I don't know why. I think she just wants to get a fucking. She's not drinking actually anymore after that night because she's like sworn off alcohol.
Yeah, she's been sober.
But she goes to like party or dance. I don't even know why she goes there. And while she's
Well,
there,
she goes and she like orders a water.
yeah,
And
but
Hunt's like, why the fuck is she at the club?
I think she's like mad at Hunt, and she goes there to like let off steam. I don't
Yeah.
really know, but point being, while she's fucking there, the club blows up. Like what? So
Fuck the club
that's
up.
weird. And so there's a C on the box of like dynamite or a horn. So they're somehow relating that either to the human rebellion or people looking for the horn. They don't really know. And so as this is happening, right, naturally Hunt and Bryce are getting closer. He again was like, this fucking bimbo bitch, like in her hoop earrings and her makeup, super like fucking judgy, which I'm like, I don't like that. You are an alpha hole.
Yeah.
He's like now being like, damn, like she's really smart. And so there's a quote and he says, the clothes, the hair, the makeup, they were all like the leather and steel and guns that he donned every morning. So he's like, oh, she's like, this is like her image.
It's like her armor.
Yeah, like if she acts like this like party girl, whatever, like even the fact I think he finds out in this part that she's not drinking, he's like, oh, she's like letting people think this so that like they underestimate her and she actually finds out more that way.
It's all a ruse.
Exactly. And now she's also starting to like, not be into him, but she tells him like, hey, listen, like Athalar, if you ever want to talk, like I'm here for you. So they're definitely starting to have at least like a camaraderie.
Yeah.
Because before this they like literally hated each other, but now as they start doing it and they're really seeing each other's true colors, like he's not an asshole. She's not just a stupid like person who doesn't care about anything. Like they're seeing each other's kind of hurts and pains, and they are starting to have like kind of a little companionship, so we will say.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're looking in the library in Griffin Antiquities for research on the demon because they can't find anything on this demon. They're like, we don't even have any books about it. Like, what is this? Because it's like ancient. And so they find out in this process that Danica was stationed at the temple where the horn was 2 days before it was stolen. And then also the night it was stolen during a blackout. And Danica was stationed at the temple during this blackout. So they were like, what the fuck? And so that's weird. And so as Hallie mentioned, this is all intertwining again. Same thing. The horn was stolen. Danica was there. Danica was killed. And so they're like, all right, we're looking for two people. The killer, who killed everyone, and also someone has the horn. And they have to also be related. So they think if they find one, they'll find the other kind of situation.
Yeah. So in order to, keep trying to solve this plot, they go to the Oracle for some answers. And so I think also just to clarify, so like as Jamie said, like the Oracle would like see into the future, very mystical being. And so the Fae, when they reach a certain age, they go to the Oracle and the Oracle tells them their future, essentially. So we hear snippets of like Bryce, like when she went to see the Oracle, she like clawed her eyes out, the Oracle. So now the Oracle is blind.
You're like, oh?
Yeah. And like this also ties into like a part of why she hates her dad. And like Rune also has like a thing with the Oracle. Like the Oracle told him one thing, but like he's telling everyone that, or his dad, that like it said something else.
Yeah, the Oracle told Rune that the like lineage dies with him.
Yeah. And
or
he's telling everyone
the royal bloodline dies with him.
Yeah, but he's telling his dad like, oh, like he'll have prosperity like as king or something.
Like a boring fucking generic one. And so, side note, real quick, while I mentioned that, that's also why Rune never advocated for Bryce to be adopted into part of the royal family and like part of the bloodline, because he actually really likes Bryce. Like, he relates to her and he
Mhm.
likes having her as a sister. But if they recognized her as royalty, he's like, why would the bloodline end with me? Like, if she's royalty, what
Mhm.
happens to her? So he's kind of like, okay, she's
Yeah.
not royalty, so if it ends with me, fine.
Mhm.
Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't
And we
care.
also didn't say that like Rune. Okay, so Rune and Bryce used to be like really close when they were younger. Like they like linked up, and Bryce spent some time in Crescent City with her dad and Rune, and then like all this shit happened with the Oracle, and then she left and she like went back with her mom. And since then, her and Rune um weren't talking. They ended on bad terms.
It was like the first time. That's when I said they were estranged. Like, that's why what happened. We
Yeah.
just explained. And now they're kind of like slowly, but they don't really trust each other. I think they just have like a common goal right now.
Yeah.
He feels really badly. He wants to be part of her life, but she's definitely hesitant with him.
Yeah. So when they're at the Oracle, let's jump back now to present.
Sorry.
So they learn that the horn is used to open doors between worlds. Interesting. Um,
Hello.
but the horn was broken, so like it's essentially useless. But we learned that the horn can be fixed. Um,
According to the Oracle.
yeah. So they're thinking that one of the princes of hell or all of them are like in cahoots with each other, so that way they can have the horn and then open um, like a portal essentially into Midgard in order to overtake the Asteri, because the Asteri and the princes of hell have bad blood,
Mhm.
obviously, as we mentioned. Um, so essentially, the horn is a part of the bigger scheme here, and it's related to the murders, but they're still trying to figure out how this is. So then, I thought this was really funny. They went to go see Philip Briggs in prison.
Why do you think it's funny?
I don't know, like,
Just random.
yeah. And they wanted to see if he knew anything about like the C logo that were on the crates that they saw in the club.
Mhm.
Um, but he didn't really give them much information, and they were like, okay, he's useless. He's not a part of
He's
this.
kind of just like a super fanatic, and he's like, all of you should die.
Yeah,
And they're like,
basically.
great.
So, and the search continues.
Yes, they're like, okay, he's not doing anything part of our murder, but
Mhm.
he's just crazy. But then, so as Hunt is talking to him, he's like, oh my God, like, was this how I used to be in like Shahar's rebellion?
Mhm.
And so Hunt and Bryce are having more deep conversations. Bryce tells Hunt he's not like Briggs, and she's like, I see the good in you. Um, and she tells him, I see all of you, and like, that's not who you are. Now they also go meet up back with Rune, and just to relate kind of their bond, Bryce starts shooting at the shooting range and she's like a fucking sharpshooter. And Hunt, like, she looks over at him and he looks at her and he's basically like, I see you and like, I like all of it. Cause I guess maybe her being like a badass bitch, some guys, it's like too much for them.
Mhm.
So this part is just kind of more so about Bryce and Hunt and the fact that they're like, okay, like now they're not only like comrades, but they're kind of vibing. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, all right, like you kind of match my fucking crazy
Mm.
energy.
Enemies to lovers?
Perhaps.
Mm. Yeah, maybe.
Right,
Borderline, I would say.
right.
Um, so while this is happening, they're having Declan, who's the techie guy who's friends with Brune, look into footage from the cameras the night of the blackout when the horn was stolen. And they find out that someone swapped the footage, um,
Mm-hmm.
but Declan caught it because he's a genius,
Like none of
obviously.
like the government didn't catch it.
Yeah,
And Declan's like, hold on a second. And they're like, yes, yes, sir.
yeah. And they find out that it was Sabine who swapped
Mm-hmm.
it. So they're like, let's go get this bitch. So they're like, oh, so let's just confront her. Also, Sabine is like super, super aggressive and
She's just like the definition of a fucking cunt.
yeah, like okay, did you ever watch Teen Wolf?
Mm-hmm.
She reminds me of Allison's, like, how her family was like
Yes, yes,
werewolf
yes,
killers or whatever.
yes,
She reminds me of her aunt. That's how I
yes. Which is ironic because she is a werewolf. But
yeah.
I digress.
Anyways, um
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they confront her and she lies and says Danica wasn't at the temple when the horn was
Which
stolen.
we know she was.
Yeah, so it's like, why are you lying kind of thing. And Sabine like comes for Bryce's throat. I think she calls her like a slut and like, you're the reason why my daughter's dead and like all
Yeah,
this
she's
stuff.
like, oh, keep going fucking strangers. Like, that's why Danica's dead. And you're like, oh. Fucking K.
Yeah.
Also, can you imagine like your best friend's mom talking to you like that?
No.
I would actually cry my eyes out.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah.
Like hysterical.
Yeah. She's just
I'm
really
also a
mean.
people pleaser and I must be liked. So like don't talk to me like that. I'll fucking die.
But
I'll
yeah,
wither away.
so they somehow make it out of there alive.
Yeah,
But
there's
you
like
know that Sabine's gunning for like retribution, so she's gonna
oh,
come back after them again.
for sure. And so Hunt is like trying to like also contribute. So he calls in Thary and Ketos, the merman. See,
Mhm.
told you guys it would happen.
He also has
And
like tiger stripes. Like he's like
he's
really
hot.
sick. Yeah,
He's a hot merman. I
and he
mean,
and he flirts with Bryce, and it's so
oh
funny.
my god, he calls her legs. I'm
Yeah,
like, and he's like, you got a boyfriend? You
yeah.
want a boyfriend? I'm like, I like this guy.
Mind you, he's like betrothed to the River Queen's daughter.
Yeah, but I don't care. Well, also I heard that he's in Crescent City 3 a lot. I can't wait. Like, fine.
We still haven't read this fucking book.
No, but I think now I'm back. Like, ACOTAR almost killed us.
I know.
Anyways, so Hunt is like he's like old pals with Tharian, and he's like, "Can you discreetly investigate like what's going on?" And Tharian's like, "Why? What's going on?" And they're like, "Have any bodies been in the water?" And he's like, "Why? What's going on?" Like he's just like, "Tell me." So basically, they're like, "There's murders." Like they tell him about the crystallos, and they're like, "Be fucking discreet." And he's like, "Okay, I will." And so they're going that route. Rune is going to the Med Witch Center. So med like witches are like healers basically. And one of the healers that was at like the acolyte murder, she works at a center. So Rune goes there to like investigate because they find out that the horn can be fixed from the oracle, but it's like there's like a prophecy and says with magic that's not magic, light that's not light. And
Yeah.
in this world, it's futuristic. And he's like, oh, it sounds like a lot like Medwitch medicine. And so they're trying to do that and see if they could fix the horn. So Rune goes there and he's like, does this sound familiar
They
to
don't
you?
even have the horn yet, and they're like, "Let's fix it."
I mean, I guess. And so now they're also like, all right, why is Sabine fucking lying?
Yeah. They're like fully convinced that she killed her daughter,
Yes.
which
Yes,
is
which
not far fetched because
I was
she's
gonna
evil.
say, like, it's kind of believable.
Well, because that's the thing, right? Because Sabine is not liked, but she's the next in line to be the prime. And
But
they were saying that like Danica would take over essentially.
well,
Like there's competition.
because Danica was so powerful that they were like speculating that the Prime would skip right over Sabine and go to Danica.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, did she fucking kill her daughter to get like next in line? Like, even though she is next in line to like solidify that, which is fucking crazy. And so they're like, why is she lying? Whatever. And so they're out one night and they're talking, and all of a sudden, Hunt is attacked by a Crystallos. And you're like, huh? Weird. And so they beat the demon, which good for them. And the Medwitch comes and heals them, but okay, fine. Again, as I'm glossing over it, it's a great read. It's like amazing and like super exciting. But like, you're like, okay, point being, why is Hunt being attacked?
Yeah. Oh god, it's so good. So good. So many things I want to say, but I can't because Jamie will kill me. So Bryce is like, "Yo, what? Why is the Crystallos here? Is the horn around us? Like, are we getting hotter? Like to where it is? Like, what's going on here?" So they go home, and Bryce and Hunt are about to have like a sexy moment that we've all been waiting for because like the tension is just building and building and building.
Oh, the Bryce and Hunt tension, guys,
Is
spoiler,
real.
it builds till the middle of book 2. Like, okay, so like the feedback of like other books, like we need more sexual tension buildup and you don't kill anyone. SJM was like,
Flipped it for you.
fuck off, bitches. How about everyone dies and no one has sex? And you're like, well, I didn't want that. That sounds like a fucking horrible
The
life.
whole
What?
other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I'm like, no sex and murder. I think I'll go back to where everyone lives and is having sex constantly. Thank you.
I don't know, but I think
What do you don't know?
okay. So I think now that I've read all the series and I've read
No, I'm
ACOTAR
saying what I want to live
multiple
in my
times.
life.
Oh, what you want to live?
Yes, I would like no one to die and to have sex
Oh.
frequently.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were talking just like in generality of like how you like the books.
Oh no, I like people die in books. I'm saying in my life, I would like to have ample amounts of sex and have no one die.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say like at first like it was ACOTAR was my favorite because that was the first series I read, and then I
Mm-hmm.
read Throne of Glass, and I was like, oh no, Throne of Glass is best. Then ACOTAR, or no, we read Crescent City. When we
Yeah,
first read
I was
Crescent
like,
City,
wrong.
sorry, when I first read Crescent City, I did not like it. I was like, yeah, it's like good, but like, nah. And then we read Throne of Glass at the end, and I was like, yeah, this is my shit. So I was like, Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, Crescent City. Now when I'm thinking about it, actually, I think it's Throne of Glass, Crescent City, and then ACOTAR.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I'm biased because we just had a time with ACOTAR.
Mm-hmm.
I think romance vibes and stuff for me, like ACOTAR is like up my alley, like high fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd probably do ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, Crescent City.
Wow. But see, like
Hmm.
that's the difference between you and me. I'm very more plot based, and you're more romance based. I feel.
Yeah, but I do like where, because she really did ACOTAR wise start going that with the multiverse.
No, like I mean, it's still good, but like,
But like that ranking makes sense for both of us.
yeah, like if you know us, like that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyways, well, how does everybody else feel?
yeah, fuck us. How do you guys feel?
Okay, so anyways, let's get back to the story. So Hunt and Bryce are about to have like a sexy moment, and then fucking Sabine comes
Kicks in the
blazing through,
fucking door with guns.
literally guns blazing, and
What's up, motherfuckers?
yeah, and she was like, "You stupid fucking idiots! Like, why'd you come see me? You're all dumb. Like, Danica's the one who stole the horn, you
And they're
dumbasses."
like, what?
Yeah, so Sabine was covering for Danica, and they're like, "Ah, shit! Like, we were completely off." Um, so yeah, she was protecting Danica, and Sabine says that whoever killed Danica probably learned the truth about the horn and was pissed.
And then killed her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're like, well, okay.
So now there's no prime suspect.
Yeah, another one we're like, like, so we literally were like, who was first? Oh, Viper Queen? No.
Yeah.
Philip Briggs? No. Sabine? No. We're like, okay, well, we have no one.
So they're kind of at like a dead end.
And so Bryce really takes this news hard. She's like rocked by this. And so she's like musing to herself and she's like complaining and having like a little like, bitch fit, which is fine. Like we all do it. And she's like, this stupid fucking horn, it's broken, this 15,000-year-old thing. Why does anyone even want it? And you're like, 15,000? What?
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's theory, quote unquote, but it's pretty fact in our mind. The horn was used to come from the ACOTAR realm of Prithian into this world. When they did that, the horn broke because
It was
too much
taken
power.
from the Dread Trove to
Yeah,
open the
so-
portal.
Yeah, and now we got here. Okay, fine. And so she's really upset. So she tells Rune, and she's like, "Hey, can you use the Star Sword to like do something in this case?" Like she's like asking for just any ideas. And Rune mentions that the Star Sword won't work without the knife. And he goes into this whole history about how the Star Sword that he has and the paired knife were made from the same meteorite from the world where the Fae originated from, yada yada. Okay, it's truth teller Azrael's blade.
Yeah.
So, and then there's this prophecy and says, when the knife and the sword are reunited, so shall our people be.
Oh, God.
Hello? So you're
So
like, okay. And like literally, like again, second read, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You're like,
because first read, no clue.
Yeah, you're like, okay, sounds good. Because I think a lot of the times when you're reading this, again, this is also middle of like when you're learning a lot about this world. You're like, all right, more history. Like even when we learned about like Miriam and Draken, the Dread Trove, honestly, your first read, you're kind of skimming it because you're like, let me just get the plot.
Yeah.
Like it'll make sense later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well it's later, and now you're reading it, and you're like, holy fuck! Like you're like, that is Azrael's knife, and like, yes, there are the people that are reunited. Like this is crazy.
Well, that was like, I think it's in the second book, right? Like they're looking in the library, and like Bryce just casually mentions, "Oh, on the shelf is this book called the Book of Breathings," and she's like skipping over it because she's trying to find another book.
I think it's this book. I think it's the next episode,
Is it?
actually.
And you're sitting there, and I was like, "Is this a joke?" It just is blatantly said.
And mind you, the first read couldn't give a fuck less.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
Like it's insane.
Anyways.
Also, side note. So when I first read this book, I thought his name was Run.
Whoa.
Like Run.
Wait, Run?
Yeah.
Danan, the Star Sword.
But then that like TikTok came out and it was like Rune Danon.
Can
like,
you say it the whole thing wrong for me, please?
Run Danon, heir to the Starborn Fae, or what is it? I forget.
Sword.
Star Sword.
Sword.
Whatever.
Anyways, yeah. Oh my god. We're putting for the next trailer, we're definitely using the Rune Dannon song.
Oh yeah, we have to
100%.
for sure. Anyways,
Okay.
so yeah, so after this, Tharian writes that he has some news.
Wait, but how he writes? Okay, in Crescent City, they have these little baby otter messengers that wear yellow vests.
Yeah, they're
and
really
they come
cute.
to your door and they knock.
And then they give you the message.
Okay, why I like this book is because it's more relatable because it's modern. So like how I'm reacting right now is how Bryce reacts. Like she's like, "Oh my god, it's an otter!" Like like she's pumped. So yeah,
I think she
you.
even makes a point to be like, keep sending me otters or something like that.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyways, so he says that like in the news that the otter brings her is that there's pictures of the Crystallos demon victims that were found
in the water.
Yeah, because he's a part of the River Queen's personal intel, whatever. And the venom that's in all their bodies matches, so they know it's like they're all connected, like they're all killed by the same thing, and it's the Crystallos
And it
demon's
like
venom.
when Bryce was attacked, we didn't really mention, but like she got hurt by the Crystallos demon, and like the
Oh, yeah.
gash in her leg like matches these victims. So we
Yeah.
know that like Bryce was attacked by Crystallos. We know these victims that Tharian sent us like are the Crystallos demon victims. Like we know for a fact. And yeah, so Bryce is like looking at these pictures and she's like, "Hun, the Crystals didn't kill Danica." And he's like, "Well, it probably did. Like, what do you mean?" And she's like, "No, no, like I'm saying like these bodies don't look the same." And he's like, "What?" And so literally when we think back to the Acolyte, Maximus and Danica, they were like all like pulps of like piles of body. The Chrysalis does not kill its victims like this. So Bryce and Hunt look at each other and they're like, the Chrysalis didn't kill any people. Like we're not looking for that person.
Mm-hmm.
Something else killed all these people. And so
now you're like, fuck.
we're gonna end this episode here because now everything we just told you guys isn't fucking true.
Yeah.
So yay!
Surprise, surprise.
So we end this episode by realizing that everything we know about Danica's death is wrong. So how did Danica die?
Yeah, and honestly, going forward, it's like a common theme throughout the book that like Bryce has no idea who Danica is. Also,
Bro,
her closest friend for years, and she has no clue who she was.
So this episode wasn't like one of our typical like high energy
secrets.
Like, I mean, it was still like us, but I feel like it wasn't as much fun because like we really had to lay this groundwork for this to make sense to you guys. We had to go into it, and again, even like the plot, we weren't as excited about because again, we just ended it saying that none of this mattered essentially.
Yeah.
So
not like it mattered, but like
but we were on
it's
the
gonna
wrong,
go a completely different direction.
Yeah, we were on the wrong trail the entire time. So this episode really just served the purpose of we needed to lay this history out for you guys or else we were fucked. And B, okay, the story's starting and the plot is going, but again, the whole plot that we thought we were doing, like all the things that like they thought they were onto, square one again.
Yeah, and that's essentially like how the book is, right? So like reading it for the first time was such a struggle until you got a little bit more than halfway.
Once you get here, it's better.
Yeah, then it like crazy, like there's like good crazy shit that happens and like it all starts to make sense.
Next episode's gonna be great. But yeah, I mean, well, it's like what you said, like up until page 400, you're confused. This ends at 465, this episode for us. So
Yeah.
literally up until now, as a reader, like you're like, you have to struggle and get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then after this, holy fuck. So next episode's gonna be so much fun, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of good commentary.
Yes. And so thanks for dedicating, for sticking it out with us this episode. I really do hope that we laid it out in a way that was easier to understand. I feel like, again, it really helped us to understand the story by doing it this way. And so I hope that when we broke it down for you guys, I know like a lot of my friends struggled with this book. Like a lot of people I know who read it struggled. So I hope that we made it a little bit easier and we get brownie points for that.
Yeah. Like our shit, bro.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for listening.
Hallee.
Sorry. It's a lot of love. Anyways, if you've been here with us since the first episode, you rock.
Woo!
Um,
Woo!
yeah, you're awesome, sauce.
We
Um,
love
follow
you.
us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, even though I think they're closing down TikTok within the next few months,
We
whatever.
love you.
Um,
Keep coming back.
yeah, so and also like interact with us. Like let us know what you think. Like leave comments on our posts. Let us know. If you hate us, let us know. If you love us, let us know.
I
Like
told you I don't do good with that.
you'll get over it.
Okay.
Watch, all this hate mail is gonna fucking come in and be like, you suck, just stop.
Yeah, so I feel like once we get the audio and like this bullshit figured out, we're gonna be golden, guys. Again, for all the new people that we accumulated this week, hi friends.
Hey.
Let us know what state you're from. I want to know.
Yeah.
If you're
Jamie's
from
a
New
stalker.
Jersey, then I don't care. It's not like a cool novelty because like we're from New Jersey. Like, are you from like Minnesota? Please tell me.
Minnesota.
A.
A.
Okay.
Canada? A.
Italia?
Italy?
Ruined it on? Okay. Anyways, so we'll see you guys next week for part 2 of Crescent City. We're gonna finish this book up. Again, next week is fucked up.
Yes.
It's so good.
So good.
Yeah. So we'll do that next week, and then we will go right in Crescent City too. With and
Awesome.
out. Ba-bow. Ba-bow. Ba-bow.
Anyways, okay, stop. So we'll see you guys next week for episode 12.
Wow.
Crescent City, Earth and Blood, part 2. Catch us there.
Goodbye, lovelies.
Bye.